Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with an unbelievably insipid and flatulent performance of the Missa Solemnis. Just the kind of piece you want to hear ruined on your average listening day, right? Well, I mean, what do you expect? It's done by Savall and his buddies at Le Concert des Nations and la Capella Nacional de Catalunya. I love them. I mean, I love Catalunya. What a beautiful place. I was there when they declared independence. Boy, was that a trip, let me tell you. I don't know if you would remember that, but they declared. I was sitting in a restaurant. I was at a musical symposium right across the street from the legislature where they declared independence, and everyone's milling around the square, and the news people are there, and it was all, it's very civilized and exciting, and they declared independence. Then the independence people all ran away. Remember that? They all just fled because the national police in Madrid were after them. And so that didn't go too well. And it was kind of an interesting tourist moment. You don't usually get to go to a place, and visit and enjoy all the culture and history of the fabulous food. Oh, my goodness. And then get like an independence movement swishing by. It was rather something else. Anyway, so here we have this performance. The soloists are Lena Johnson, Olivia Vermeulen, Martin Platz, and Manuel Walzer. And they're good. They're not bad. They don't disgrace themselves. The problem is that the performance is the most flatulent and insipid thing you've ever heard. Yes, and I use those two terms, well, I use them pretty specifically. The insipidity comes in the more spiritual moments, because Savall is trying to be intimate and spiritual. And so a lot of the eruptiveness of the piece is minimized. Wherever you expect it to pop out, it doesn't pop the way it should. But then the flatulent part comes where it does pop, because there are a few moments where he remembers that he's dealing with one of the grandest pieces of music ever to issue from the mind of humanity. And it needs that bigness. And so instead of bigness, you get flatulence. You get a blurp of something, So I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example in a minute. But the reason it's so horrible, and it's really very easy, I can show it to you visually. If you're watching this as a podcast, I will explain it to you as well. Here it is. See this? This is the performance. A teeny, teensy, teensy, peensy orchestra with a tiny handful of strings, but complete 4 horns and 2 trumpets and 3 trombones and timpani and double winds, and then a choir. The trumpets and the timpani you see they're in the back behind the chorus. See them there? See them there in the back next to each other? You never hear the trumpets. Particularly, in the Gloria, they have that rising scale. That's why Beethoven wrote a rising scale, because natural trumpets could play it. So at the opening, when it's da, 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 they come in with the glorious capping of the rising melody. You don't hear them at all. They might as well have gone home. And the choir consists of for you podcasters, imagine a cage of hamsters with little toy instruments. And the hamsters are running around on their little treadmill. And then you take something like a cat or a predator and you whiz it by them once in a while, and they get frantic. They all go, eek, in their hamster-like way. That's what this performance is. I hope that image will be created in your mind, because what happens here is there is no way in hell that this tiny string ensemble and the full everybody else with this little tiny chorus is going to do any kind of justice to this music. It's physically impossible. The laws of physics do not permit it. And as a result, what happens is you have this sort of sluggish, tempos, the opening of the Gloria, it drove me crazy. Tempos tend to be kind of on the oily, sluggish side. And the excitement and physical power of the music is minimized in order for it to be spiritual. That's where the insipid part comes in, as I mentioned. But then you have moments where Savall all of a sudden, has to do something, like Pater Omnipotens in the Gloria, where all of the forces, the trombones, the organ, the whole thing come together for 2 minutes, 2 words. Pater omnipotens, crash, blank, blah, Well, that does its flatulence. It does this burp. The orchestra, everything's just, but it's like I hate to say it, but it's like my grandmother, a lovely old lady, sweet old lady, beautifully dolled out, who would uncontrollably fart now and then. I mean, that's what this performance does. It happens as we get older, and we don't, they don't care. They don't pay attention. It doesn't matter. And they pretend nothing's happening. Everyone else notices, and everyone else ignores it too, because it's polite and they're very old, So that's what you have. This is a flatulent old lady performance. Another way to describe it. I mean, the credo is so dead. It's just so dead. I mean, beautiful moments. The Et Incarnatus and the final Et Vitam Venturi Seculi Amen. That final glorious opening of the heavens with the choral roulades going. I mean, it's just nothing happening. Nothing. And all along, the timpani sound like they're separated. They do. They sound like they're detached from everybody else, and they have no pitch. They're those little period instrument timpani, and you can't tell any sort of underpinning, any distinct pitch that they make. It just sounds like a tenor drum being beaten with a stick, and it's completely acoustically separated from the orchestral texture. So it really sounds like an accident. It sounds like somebody's moving furniture while the performance is happening. It's like, okay, guys, put the sofa here. Clank. That's what it's like. And then we have, of course, the Sanctus and Benedictus, where you have the opportunity for the fabulous period instrument violinist to prove that period instruments can be as beautiful and ethereal and spiritually potent as the most fabulous modern performer. Wrong. Of course they don't. Oh, this is an embarrassment. It's intonationally challenged. It's scratchy. It's horrible. And of course there's the Agnus Dei. Who could forget that? Where the whole business, gets interrupted by the drums of war, which are here out in left field somewhere. This is so bad. I can't even begin to describe how bad it is. You get that fugal passage, yum bum ba da dum bum. Then the winds are do 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 do, and then ba-dum 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 ba-dum, and they start screaming, Agnus Dei, and the soloists are screeching, and nothing happens. First of all, that whole fugal passage is a complete mess because the orchestra is so out of balance. The strings, it has no ferocity, no energy, no clarity, no textural clarity, because the strings, it's like two violins. How many strings are in here? It's a joke. They list them. I know. Maybe I should not bother because we'll just get upset. This was recorded in 2023. Well, there you go. In Catalunya. Let's see. Is it here? I don't know. We get another picture of these people. The end of the concert in Paris. There's the text. You get this fabulous booklet. I mean, it's an amazing, production. Anyway, never mind. It's a tiny little ensemble. And so the whole threat of war business, which is the raison d'etre of the Agnus Dei, goes for absolutely nothing. The thing is just a farce. It's a farce. And however seriously these people take themselves, and believe me, they take themselves very seriously, it's a disgrace. A disgrace. It's a scandal. Beethoven would be spinning in his grave. Maybe that was the sound of the timpani we're making. That was Beethoven spinning in his grave and rolling over and thumping against the coffin. How people get away with this stuff, I have no idea. And why people put up with it. And the musical universe will sit back and listen to this and go, it's Savall. I mean, Savall's a wonderful artist in his Fach, in his early music. He's terrible in the classical period. His Beethoven symphonies were non-happenings. He should just stop. He should stop and stick with what he does best. There's no shame in that. I've enjoyed so many of his performances and recordings. I really have. And he's a lovely man. But this is just a joke. And someone's got to slap these people around. Well, they never will, because someone's paying for this. They're subsidized. They're supported. And then the record comes out. And then, the classical music military industrial complex, especially the period instrument folks, will just go like that and tell us how wonderful it is and what a revelation it is. And you never knew that Beethoven could sound like that? Well, that's for damn sure. You never knew he could sound like that. The question is, should he ever sound like that? With all that horrible, I can't even, it's enough. Well, that one goes. There it is. Go have fun, folks. Keep on listening. Take care.